Good morning. I am Day. DAA are my initials. I am recovery from loss, grief, trauma, and addiction. In my years of active recovery, I have found that upon awakening, it is useful to affirm and devote myself to the me of my recovery, the one that ties all of the pieces together gently, lovingly, and sometimes even fiercely to face each day. With these daily affirmations, reflections, devotions, and meditations, walk with me, DHB, Devotion, Health, and Beauty, on the recovery journey of hope, renewal, resilience, and reflection. And remember that you are not alone, one day at a time. Fair use, February 17. The love in their eyes. Some of us won't believe in God, others can't, and still others who do believe that God exists have no faith whatever. He will perform this miracle. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 25. It was the changes I saw in the new people who came into the fellowship that helped me lose my fear and change my negative attitude to a positive one. I could see the love in their eyes, and I was impressed by how much their one day at a time sobriety meant to them. They had looked squarely at step 2 and came to believe that a power greater than themselves was restoring them to sanity. That gave me faith in the fellowship and hope that it could work for me too. I found that God was a loving God, not that punishing God I feared before coming to AA. I also found that He had been with me during all those times I had been in trouble before I came to AA. I know today that He was the one who led me to AA and that I am a miracle. Fair use. Courage to change, one day at a time, in Al-Anon, February 17. My vision can be so limited. I often think that the only possible outcomes are those that I can imagine. Fortunately, my higher power is not restricted by such logic. In fact, some of the most wondrous events grow out of what appear to be disasters. But faith takes practice. Fears can loom large, and I can get lost in my limited thinking. When I can't see any way out and I doubt that even a higher power can help me, that's when I most need to pray. When I do, my actions demonstrate my willingness to be helped, and time after time, the help I need is given to me. Today, I know that even when my situation looks bleak and I can't see any way out, miracles can happen if I turn my will and my life over to God. Today's reminder: I have an important part to play in my relationship with my higher power. I have to be willing to receive help, and I have to ask for it. If I develop the habit of turning to my higher power for help with small, everyday matters, I'll know what to do when faced with more difficult challenges. In the hour of adversity, be not without hope, for crystal rain falls from black clouds. Persian poem. Fair use. Just for today, daily meditations for recovering addicts. February 17. Carrying the message, not the addict. They can be analyzed, counseled, reasoned with, prayed over, threatened, beaten, or locked up, but they will not stop until they want to stop. basic text, page 65. Perhaps one of the most difficult truths we must face in our recovery is that we are as powerless over another's addiction as we are over our own. We may think that because we've had a spiritual awakening in our own lives, we should be able to persuade another addict to find recovery, but there are limits to what we can do to help another addict. We cannot force them to stop using. We cannot give them the results of the steps or grow for them. We cannot take away their loneliness or their pain. There is nothing we can say to convince a scared addict to surrender the familiar misery of addiction for the frightening uncertainty of recovery. We cannot jump inside other people's skins, shift their goals, or decide for them what is best for them. However, if we refuse to try to exert this power over another's addiction, we may help them. We may grow if we allow them to face reality, painful though it may be. They may become more productive by their own definition as long as we don't try and do it for them. They can become the authority on their own lives, provided we are only authorities on our own. If we can accept all this, we can become what we were meant to be, carriers of the message, not the addict. Just for today, I will accept that I am powerless not only over my own addiction, but also over everyone else's. I will carry the message, not the addict. Today, Emotions Anonymous, February 17. Reflection for today. We are not here to judge each other, but to accept each other. God is our only judge and so much kinder to us than we are to ourselves. Many times in the past, we judged others, but were we equipped to make these judgments? Do we know what brought another to take a certain action? We judge others because we are so harsh with ourselves. The more we can accept our own failures and weaknesses, the more likely we will cease to judge others. Meditation for today. May I realize that if I am judging another, it is only a sign of my own self rejection. Today I will remember, as I begin to talk kindly to myself, I will experience an inner peace and calmness. It will show in how I treat others. Fair use. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. February 17. Family roles. We are making a statement that we will no longer be loyal to denial and dysfunctional family roles. BRB, page 123. We each grew up playing a role in our families: hero, scapegoat, mascot, or lost child. Our role may have been related to birth order or perhaps to how we innately reacted to our situation. If we had several siblings, we probably shared these roles. If we were from a small family or were an only child, we may have had to play multiple roles. Each role carried certain expectations. Even if the role appeared positive to the outside world, like the hero, it likely turned into a negative as we attempted to wear it while navigating through our adult years. ACA helps us learn how to shed these shackling roles. We begin to set limits. We act in a healthier, unexpected ways around our dysfunctional family of origin. We choose to no longer react to events that once set us emotionally spinning out of control. The process is not easy and may take time, yet through it all, we learn to live life on our own terms. When we're successful, we release fear, chaos, control, and rigidity from our lives. We find new freedom, which is an amazing reward. The affirmation reads, on this day, I realize the role assigned to me in childhood. I embrace my new role, recovering adult child. DHB Recovery Network Daily Affirmations, Reflections, Devotions, and Meditations. Read by me, Day. Share, subscribe, like, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time. Morning, I am Day. DAA are my initials. I am in recovery from loss, grief, trauma, and addiction. In my years of active recovery, I have found that upon awakening, it is useful to affirm and devote myself to the me of my recovery, the one that ties all of the pieces together gently, lovingly, and sometimes even fiercely to face each day, one day at a time. With these daily affirmations, reflections, devotions, and meditations, walk with me on the recovery journey of hope, renewal, resilience, and self reflection. And remember that you are not alone. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. February 13th. We can't think our way sober. To the intellectually self sufficient man or woman, many AAs can say, yes, we were like you, far too smart for our own good. Secretly, we felt we could float above the rest of the folks on our brain power alone. As Bill sees it, page 60. Even the most brilliant mind is no defense against the disease of alcoholism. I can't think my way sober. I try to remember that intelligence is a God given attribute that I may use, a joy like having a talent for dancing or drawing or carpentry. It does not make me better than anyone else, and it is not a particularly reliable tool for recovery, for it is a power greater than myself who will restore me to sanity, not a high IQ or a college degree. Fair use. Courage to change one day at a time in Al Anon. February 13. Every snowflake is different. Every thumbprint is different. Every person in Al Anon is different, despite the common problem that brings us together. Comparing myself to others was a defect of character that plagued me all of my life and continued during my early years in Al Anon. I focused on how others seemed to be grasping the program more quickly than I had. The right things to say when they shared seemed more popular. I didn't like myself because I wasn't living up to what I believed to be true about others. Today, just like the snowflake and the thumbprint, I realize that I, too, have special qualities. I know that my growth in Al Anon can't be compared with anyone else's. I have learned that I can't judge my insides by other people's outsides. We're all doing the best we can. Like every other member of the fellowship, I offer an important contribution to the Al Anon family groups simply by participating and being myself. Today's reminder: A sponsor or trusted Al Anon friend can help me see that I have value just as I am. It is the chiefest point of happiness that a man is willing to be what he is. Desiderius Erasmus. Fair use. Just for today, daily meditations for recovering addicts. February 13. The ties that bind. As long as the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that would tear us apart, all will be well. Basic text, page 60. Many of us feel that without NA, we would surely have died from our disease. Hence, its existence is our very lifeline. However, disunity is an occasion fact of life in Narcotics Anonymous. We must learn to respond in a constructive way to the destructive influences that sometimes arise in our fellowship. If we decide to be part of the solution instead of the problem, we are headed in the right direction. Our personal recovery and the growth of NA is contingent upon maintaining an atmosphere of recovery in our meetings. Are we willing to help our group deal constructively with conflict? As group members, do we strive to work out difficulties openly, honestly, and fairly? Do we seek to promote the common welfare of all our members rather than our own agenda? And as trusted servants, do we take into consideration the effect or actions might have on newcomers? Service can bring out both the best and the worst in us, but it is often through service that we begin to get in touch with some of our more pressing defects of character. Do we shrink from service commitments rather than face what we might find out about ourselves? If we bear in mind the strength of the ties that bind us together, our recovery from active addiction, all will be well. Just for today, I will strive to be of service to our fellowship. I will be unafraid to discover who I am. Fair use. Today, Emotions Anonymous, February 13. Reflection for today. When I came to the program, step 3 was confusing to me. Now I have learned that even though I may not totally understand God or the meaning of God's will, I can still make a decision to surrender. I have already proved to myself that I alone cannot manage my life. What image I have of a higher power is not important. It is best that I just make a decision on whether I want God in my life or not. What have I got to lose? Meditation for today. If I cannot manage to say anything else, then just let me be able to say, help me. Today I will remember, stop analyzing, start accepting. Fair use. Strengthening my recovery meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. February 13. ACA recovery is challenging, but the rewards are immense. We must put forth effort and feel the uncomfortable feelings that might come. At the same time, the goal is self-love and knowing that we are good enough just the way we are. This is an ACA paradox. BRB, Big Red Book, page 438. In our program, we need a lot of courage to face a great many things. Facing how we were abandoned requires us to summon all the courage we can muster. As we keep coming back, memories and feelings float up from our subconscious to the mind's eye, and we acknowledge the losses we buried. As children, many of us wanted or needed to idolize our caregivers. In ACA, we take off the rose colored glasses and see them as flawed human beings who were unable to be there for us emotionally, physically, psychologically, or spiritually. Facing this abandonment means looking at it honestly with the help of our higher power, our inner loving parent, and our inner child. This is how we begin to reparent ourselves so that we can become whole. The affirmations read: On this day, I continue to seek the courage to face my abandonment issues, resolving to take the steps to make myself whole so I can bond with others from this consciousness centered space. DHB Recovery Network Daily Affirmations, Reflections, Devotions, and Meditations read by day. Share, subscribe, like, hit that notification button so that you will know when new podcasts or videos are posted. And most of all, be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time.